questions still remain about how they will afford the many changes and upgrades required in their response to the pandemic.
Well, today, Ohio's 2 U.S. senators discussed potential federal relief for schools. WCPO 9 News reporter Josh Bazan explains what they agreed on and what could hold up the process.
So it's absolutely up to the federal government to step in, and to step in now.
Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown and Republican Senator Rob Portman are on the same page when it comes to giving emergency relief to schools in Ohio and across the country.
Our version had money for the schools. Actually, the House version had less money for K through 12 than we did. So there should be a way to get to some common ground there.
As many schools still try to finalize back to school plans and wrestle with the decision between remote, blended, or fully in-person learning, that decision could make a big difference in how much money they can get from the federal government.
Change classroom configuration, hire more teachers because they have to have smaller classes. So there are some definite costs there.
One of the sticking points is which schools should get most of the money. The Republican plan in the Senate sets aside 2/3 of all funding for K through 12 schools to districts that return to in-person classes. But opponents say schools starting the year with remote learning deserve a bigger piece of the pie.
The funding shouldn't be conditioned on schools using it for in-person learning. We need to trust superintendents and school boards and mayors and consuls and county commissioners. We need to trust them not to put strings on the money, but to get them the money and let them make the decisions.
How much of the funding should go to schools that have reopened and how much should go to schools that have not. I think if you go remote, you do have expenses, but it's not the same.
Senator Brown says the first priority for schools is safety, and if they determine remote learning is the best option to start the year, they should not be overlooked when it comes to relief funding.
They hear all of us say open the schools safely, and their responsibility is immense.
Despite some big differences like that, both senators from Ohio point out a lot of common ground in these relief packages and seem optimistic a bill can get passed soon that will include support for schools and address other areas of need throughout the country. Josh Bazan, WCPO 9 News.